Thank you so much for joining us.
Ja, vielen Dank. Es tut mir leid, ich habe vor 30 Jahren Deutsch gelernt, aber jetzt habe ich vergessen, also ich spreche in English. So I'm sorry for everybody who didn't understand. My German is lost after 30 years of studying it, so I'm going to have to speak in English.
I'm impressed. I think it's very much still there.
Yeah. Well, just to read. So yeah, thanks for having me here. I represent the municipality of Tirana. We are a relatively young entity when it comes to dealing with food policies. Dealing with food policy according to the Albanian legislation up until a couple of years ago has not been a staple of the municipalities, but rather of the central government. However, with some changes in the legislation in recent years, we started to shift slowly towards having some capacities in terms of dealing with food policy. We also lacked as a result of not having this competence, we also lacked a lot of expertise in the field. Luckily enough, our main partners and allies in applying for EU funding and in finding systems of reference for EU best practices are our neighboring Italian municipalities. So Tirana, a couple of years back, joined the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, but we also have collaborated with many Italian counterparts on food policy issues, and we also joined the Food Trails project, led by the municipality of Milan, focusing on the sharing of best practices at the European level for food policy issues. What we're doing with our Food Trails project, we're looking towards a food policy document for the city, exploring also the transformation of the city in terms of our agriculture and food framework, and identifying clear visions for the future, which are in coordination with our territorial and economic development planning. The document has already been prepared in collaboration with our European partners within this Food Trails project. And we are developing this food policy, helping to support sustainable food systems in the city, in the urban and peri-urban areas. We want to, so our main aims is to ensure access to food and healthy nutrition for all citizens, reduce as much as possible food waste by reducing and rejecting waste along the entire supply chain. But also we are attempting to implement a living lab methodology so that we involve as many stakeholders as possible in creating this food policy document. In concrete actions, we are also working for farmers markets, ensure supply chains, also trying to ensure sustainability and research for the future of the agri-food system, reduce food waste, as I told you before, and to create an institutional body, which is going to be the Tirana Food Council, focusing on increasing dialogue between all the stakeholders, the municipality, central government, private sector, academia, and the food and restoration and HoReCa, let's say, sector. We are much in a learning phase, so unlike what we heard from New York or our partners across across the pond, we are just newbies at this process. We're just trying to learn from best practices. So I am not going to be able to answer questions about best practices from Tirana, so that because we are only at a learning stage, but I am looking forward to any kind of collaboration. with you guys, but also with your partners, because I see that there's a lot of capacity and expertise, and we are always looking to collaborate and learn more. That was pretty much it in a nutshell, because it's also quite late, and I don't want to be the barrier between myself and a coffee break. So thank you for your attention. Yeah.
There is also Ida joining us, who is well, you're on the screen right now, and so I'm just going to introduce you so that people in the audience know who you are. She is also part of the Food Trails project and advising Tirana on the development of the food policy, and was part of the dialogue before this event. Thank you so much, Genci, for sharing your first steps in the direction of coming up with an urban food strategy and drafting the first food policy. Are there questions for a city that is just starting to deal with food policy in the audience? If not, I already have a question, which I'm just gonna ask, which is, you mentioned the institutional body that is planned to be implemented, the Tirana Food Council. Are you planning on making it as part of the municipality, or is it something that you are promoting to be coming from the civil society side?
No, we need to go through an institutional pathway to approve this. So we have to go, first of all, we need to go through our central government institutions, discuss it at the central level, then distribute it to civil society and all private businesses involved, so other interested stakeholders, and then we need to approve it in our municipal council, so that it becomes a verifiable and implementable official document.
Okay, but the food strategy itself, or the council?
Well, the food strategy and the council is going to have to be, let's say, a multi-partner, multi-stakeholder structure that is going to involve people from central government, local government, civil sector, academia, private businesses operating in the food sector. So it will have to be created through a decision of the council, municipal council, so that it validates, so it gets some legitimacy, some official legitimacy, let's say.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Berenice, if you see someone with a question, you just come to the front. Great. I was wondering, what was the factor that brought Tirana to get engaged with food policy?
Well, we had an unexpected increase of tourism in the city. Albania, in the last 4 years or so, passed from a very remote destination in Europe, having an average of 800,000 to about 1 million visitors per year. This was back in 2018, 2019, and last year we had above 10 million visitors as a country, which is a substantial increase in numbers. About 6 to 7 million of them visit Tirana, and this has put a lot of strain and a lot of pressure on our capacity to provide food as a country and as a city. And many operators have notified us as a municipality, but also as a central and local government, of these tensions arising from the number of people visiting the city, but also from the city enlarging itself quite rapidly. Tirana has increased about fivefold in the last 25 years. So, and finally, we also followed the advice of our partners in Milan. We have partnered with the Comune di Milano, municipality of Milan, for several initiatives. Our urban planning territorial plan, but also some other interventions in the city, and we followed them or accepted their invitation to join the Milan Food Policy Pact, and from there several collaborations have made themselves real in these last years. So it was not necessarily spontaneous, but it was, let's say, a sign of times that we needed to focus on food policy as a city.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
We have a question from the audience.
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, I'm Laura. I work for Kantine-Zukunft-Brandenburg. So basically, this is the project for the federal state of Brandenburg. And I'd be interested, so as I understood, you're currently drafting the food policy strategy. Are there any certain areas you identified specifically for Tirana which you aim to focus on? And if yes, maybe even some projects you want to implement?
I think we need to focus a lot on some technical but also logistical issues. Luckily enough, there seems to be some sort of an harmony in Albania in the recent 1 or 2 years with local government and central government and some international donors and in some international agencies, including the GIZ and KfW, the German development agencies present in Albania, focusing on food security and food policy, so food-related issues. So I think we are going to need a lot of support on the best practices when it comes to harmonizing all the actors, all the stakeholders who are involved in the field of food policy. I think that's a challenge because we do not have that kind of experience. Another issue that we have is that particularly in the areas around the capital city, we have experienced a lot of people leaving villages and rural areas and coming into the urban areas, which has decreased our capacity to access fresh produce. So we are mainly dependent from nearby regions, but not necessarily Tirana, let's say, agricultural areas or rural areas. We are trying to work a lot with local producers, incentivizing them, subsidizing them. We started a couple of months ago subsidizing. Actually, it was a German funded program called Hilfe, where we subsidize local farmers with advanced agricultural machineries, and the municipality finances part of the subsidy, and the German collaboration also subsidizes the other part. But so we need, first of all, to get more people into the production, food production industry. We need to liaise them with our local markets and local. We call it AgroHub. It's a structure that we built last year. It's an aggregator of food products run by the municipality. We are very proud of it. And all of these have to be integrated into the food policy and harmonized with the central government actors and also local stakeholders, including private businesses. So it is a lot to squeeze in a couple of years, but I think there is also a lot of increased attention and funding. So we are on a good path, I believe.
It seems like it. And as you already mentioned, you are in a great network with great partners who you can turn to for advice. And thank you so much for the invitation to also get in touch with the people here in the audience. As you said, it's all about exchange and learning from each other. And this is what this Kantine-Zukunft-Talk is also all about. So thanks again for taking the time after hours to come and share your experiences and pathways with us. In German we say schönen Feierabend.